All right, we're back with another episode of UFC Main Event Pick'em Show, and this time we're going to be breaking down the main event of UFC 315, which is Belal Muhammed defending his belt against Jack Della Maddalena. So let's get into this. Belal Muhammed is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fight win streak, 11 fight unbeaten streak due to the no contest with Leon Edwards. One of the biggest win rates, or one of the biggest win streaks in the entirety of the UFC, and still nobody likes him. Is it his personality? Is it his ethnicity? Is it his fighting style? Maybe all of the above. I actually really like everything about Belal Muhammad. I really like his fighting style, and ever since his victory over Stephen Thompson, I have been a believer in the man. I believed he could beat Vicente Luque. I believed he could beat Sean Brady. I believed he could beat Gilbert Burns. And the one time when I doubted him was against Leon Edwards. He dominated Leon Edwards. It was a close fight on the scorecards, but when Belal Muhammad had a good position on Leon Edwards, Edwards was not moving anywhere. So I'm going to just be upfront about this. I'm going to pick him to beat Jack Della Maddalena, and right now I'm picking Belal Muhammad to beat everyone in the welterweight division. I think that Jack Della Maddalena is really good. I picked Gilbert Burns to beat him, and before that, I picked him to beat everyone in the UFC. I thought that he would get out wrestled by Gilbert Burns. That was largely true. Due to a late round 3 comeback, Jack Della Maddalena was able to TKO Gilbert Burns and get the win. I just don't think he's going to be able to do that against Belal Muhammad. So let's get into Jack Della Maddalena's career in the UFC. He gets into the UFC off of the Contender Series, beating Ange Lusa by decision. Then he knocks out in round 1 Pete Rodriguez, knocks out in round 1 Ramazan Amaev, knocks out in round 1 Danny Roberts, knocks out in round 1 Randy Brown. Actually, he doesn't knock him out. He does knock him down and then finishes him with a rear naked choke. Then he fights a good grappler, Basil Hafez. He's not even that good of a grappler, but Jack was really put up against a wall there with Basil Hafez's grappling. Just it disrupted his game. Basil Hafez's grappling basically just put Jack on the back foot a lot of the time of the fight, and whenever Jack did start throwing and he was ripping the body, which I think is some of his best work, actually like going to the body of his opponent with those in close hooks, Basil Hafez was able to defend and press him up against the cage. And we saw that Jack was pretty willing to engage in the grappling with Basil Hafez, and he did learn from that mistake. Against Kevin Holland, I thought Jack Della Maddalena won probably all 3 of those rounds. It was a pretty close back and forth striking affair. Kevin Holland is extremely difficult to hit cleanly. However, Holland wasn't really landing anything in return on Jack, so at the end of the day, you did have to give it to the more aggressive fighter. Against Gilbert Burns was beating Jack Della Maddalena. He was taking him down in round 3, and then Jack was able to get back up to his feet, land a knee on Gilbert Burns when Burns panic shot on him, and then TKO him with ground strikes with a little bit over a minute left in the fight. One of the greatest rounds you'll see. That was a great fight. Jack Della Maddalena is a super fun and entertaining fighter to watch. So what is the difference between Gilbert Burns and Belal Muhammad? Jack Della Maddalena survived Burns' grappling. He was able to get back up against Gilbert Burns, and ultimately he did finish him with strikes. Why do I think he's not going to be able to do the same to Belal Muhammad? Well, I think Belal Muhammad has a more aggressive pace than Gilbert Burns. Belal Muhammad also has a more fluid transition between his striking and his grappling. In fact, his striking is pretty much only serves to get him to the grappling. That's not the same with Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns will try to look out for the knockouts in the striking, and then if that isn't working out for him, he'll go to the grappling. He's not really able to seamlessly transition the two. Where did Jack Della Maddalena catch Gilbert Burns? He didn't catch him in striking. He caught him when he was transitioning to grappling. He saw Burns going in for the double leg, and he timed that knee perfectly, rocking him, and then that eventually led to JDM finishing him on the ground. Not only is Belal Muhammad better at going for takedowns than Gilbert Burns because I do think his striking is better in the sense that it allows him to get in for takedowns better. But Belal Muhammed is younger than Gilbert Burns, and he has taken way less hits than Gilbert Burns. He is more durable than Gilbert Burns, and he has a better chin. If Belal Muhammed got hit with that same exact knee, he would not have been stunned and then finished on the ground subsequently. Belal Muhammed would have eaten that knee and continued the takedown, either getting the takedown or just holding on to the legs until the cobwebs were cleared, and then continuing to fight from there. Belal Muhammed has good cardio. He has a decently good chin, better than most. His great grappling and his striking is actually fairly decent. I think that people are going to be surprised by the amount of strikes Belal Muhammed is able to land on Jack Della Maddalena when Jack is so preoccupied with the wrestling threat that Belal is presenting to him. So I think that Jack Della Maddalena is going to land some good punches. I just don't see him winning rounds in this fight. I don't think he's going to get finished on the ground. I think that he's going to do a great job defending all of Belal Muhammed's attacks. However, if you're defending attacks from your opponent the entire fight, you're considered to be losing the fight in the UFC scoring rules. So I'm going to predict Belal Muhammed by decision. I think that he's just going to get Jack Della Maddalena down to the ground multiple times. Belal Muhammed is such a good athlete. He has such good cardio. That's just going to add to his durability. Jack Della Maddalena is probably going to be targeting the body. He's probably going to try to look for the knockouts with knees and stuff. I just don't see it working against someone like Belal Muhammed, who has crafted his entire game around that transition point between the striking and the grappling, which in my opinion is what marks a truly great grappler in MMA. The ability to circumvent that traditional takedown defense by seamlessly flowing from striking immediately into grappling, catching your opponent off guard, and that just augments both your grappling and your striking. It just makes everything better when you're able to seamlessly flow in between both of those different styles. So my official prediction is going to be Belal Muhammed by decision. I don't think that he's going to really do significant damage to Jack Della Maddalena. We haven't seen him use great ground and pound in his career. I don't think he's going to submit Jack Della Maddalena. We haven't seen him have great submissions in his career, but what we have seen from Belal is an ability to stay in his opponent's face, tire them out, wear them down, and when he gets them down, he holds them down. And I think he's going to be doing that exact same thing against Jack Della Maddalena all 5 rounds, dominating an ultimately boring decision win from him. But when you're at the top of the division, if you're boring, that's on your opponents to just do better. So we'll see if Jack Della Maddalena, even though he has a great submission defense, even though he's a great grappler, we'll see if he actually can get back up to the feet and force Belal Muhammed to exchange in uncomfortable striking battles. But ultimately, Belal Muhammed by decision. So I'm going to be predicting Belal Muhammed by decision. My win rate overall is a 71.9% win rate with a total of 41 predictions, 16 of them incorrect. For the year of 2025, I'm at 12 correct and 3 incorrect. So I'm doing really well in 2025, hitting at about an 80% win rate. We'll see if we can tick that up or if I'll drop down a little bit. Anyway, guys, what are your predictions? Do you like Belal Muhammed? Are you bemoaning this fight, thinking that the boring fighter is just going to win, and you'd rather see someone like a Shavkat or even an Ian Gary take the title against Belal Muhammed? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and everyone, enjoy the fights. See ya!